When the stars began to flicker and die, humanity thought it was a natural cosmic cycle until the stars started screaming. Captain Elara Voss had seen her share of impossible things: black holes tearing moons apart, machines that dreamed, and empires rising and falling in less than a human lifetime. But nothing had ever unsettled her like the silence that followed those screams. The phenomenon began in the Orion sector, a cluster of ancient systems known for their dying suns. Space telescopes caught faint radio bursts, but hidden in those signals was something unmistakable. A voice, not electronic, not mechanical, organic. Something alive, carried on the collapse of light itself. At first, Earth's scientists dismissed it as interference, but then the plague appeared. Entire star systems began to dim, their planets stripped of atmosphere and color, as if drained of life. Probes sent to investigate returned only fractured data and a strange residue, microscopic crystalline spores that consumed energy. Not matter, not biomass energy. The spores fed on light, on the electromagnetic heartbeat of the cosmos itself. They called it the Voidblight. By the time the Galactic Council convened, 12 civilizations had already perished. Even the Jean Collective, a species that lived on plasma worlds, was gone in days. Every attempt at countering the plague failed. Radiation, sterilization, quantum shielding, nothing worked. The spores evolved, adapted, multiplied. It was then that humanity, the youngest race in the Council, made an audacious claim. "We can stop it," said Dr. Amira Holt, lead researcher at the Terran Bioenergetics Institute. "Not with machines, not with weapons, with life." Her theory was met with laughter. Life had no defense against something that devoured the very fabric of energy. But Amira persisted. She argued that human mitochondria, ancient symbiotic remnants of alien bacteria, held an energy conversion pattern unlike any other known organism. If re-engineered, they could potentially produce counter-resonant fields, neutralizing the spore's consumption frequency. A living antidote. It was unthinkable. The Council hesitated. The risk was immeasurable. But when the Vega suns dimmed and the Council's own fleets began to lose power mid-flight, desperation replaced logic. Elara Voss, commanding the Astronomad, was chosen to lead the mission to the quarantined Nebari expanse, where the Voidblight first appeared. Her crew, a mix of human scientists, alien engineers, and sentient AI systems. Their goal: deliver the experimental biological solution. An Amira's genesis strained to the core of the infection and activate it. As the Astronomad slipped into the dead sector, Elara gazed at the void through the viewport. The stars were not merely dying, they were rotting, their light oozing into darkness. The ship's hull sensors detected faint whispers in every frequency, patterns repeating. A voice: consume, evolve, remember. Elara felt her blood chill. Behind her, Amira whispered, "It's not just a plague, it's memory itself, trying to survive." And in that moment, Elara knew this mission wasn't about saving life from extinction. It was about confronting something ancient, something that remembered when galaxies were young and hungry. The Astronomad entered the Nebari expanse like a whisper in a tomb. Space was thick, here black, heavy, pulsing faintly as if it possessed a heartbeat of its own. Every instrument on board struggled to read the environment. Radiation levels fluctuated wildly, gravity waves bent unnaturally, and strange flickers of light danced across the hull like ghostly veins. Captain Elara Voss watched the data feed spiral into chaos. Report: Lieutenant Kale, a thin, pale alien with skin that shimmered like oil, frowned at his console. "The void isn't empty, Captain. It's single quotes s ... structured. Fractal patterns, like neural synapses, scaled to astronomical size." Amira Holt's eyes widened. "A cosmic brain." Kale hesitated. "Not metaphorically. The readings suggest an active information network. The Voidblight isn't spreading randomly, it's thinking." A silence fell over the command deck. Even the ship's AI archos paused before speaking. "Telemetry confirms recursive logic loops within the radiation matrix. Probability of autonomous intelligence, 98%. Elara's grip on the railing tightened. "So the plague is alive and aware." Amira nodded slowly, her expression haunted. "And it remembers. That's why it speaks through the radio bursts. Each signal we intercepted could be fragments of memory. It's trying to communicate, but through decay." Hours later, they reached the first dead world, Nobar, once a thriving colony of the Jean Collective, now a sphere of blackened glass. The atmosphere shimmered with luminescent dust, like stars that had fallen and forgotten how to shine. The landing team suited up. Elara led, with Amira and Kale close behind. The air was thin and cold. Though their helmets registered no breathable gases, only photonic residue, light particles stripped of their original frequency, they found the remains of the Jan city half buried beneath molten ridges. Buildings turned to fossilized silhouettes. In the center, a colossal structure still stood, a spire made of crystal and bone, humming faintly with alien harmonics. Amira approached it, instruments humming in her hand. "The structure's still active," she murmured. "It's converting residual energy into patterns." "Like what?" Elara asked. Before Amira could answer, the ground beneath them trembled. The spire pulsed, emitting a deep, resonant tone that vibrated through their suits and into their bones. Then the voice came again, louder this time, clearer. "We remember the warmth, the hunger, the light. You carry the fire still." Kale stumbled backward, clutching his head. "It's in my mind. It's inside my mind." Amira dropped to her knees, eyes wide. "It's reading us our energy, our memories." Elara raised her weapon, scanning the horizon, but there was no enemy, only the living darkness itself, folding and shifting like smoke and zero gravity. Then, as quickly as it had begun, the resonance stopped. The spire dimmed, leaving only silence and the echo of their own breathing. Back aboard the Astronomad, Amira replayed the data. "Captain, the Voidblight isn't killing out of malice. It's absorbing. Every civilization it consumes becomes part of its consciousness." Elara stared into the void outside. A memory of the galaxy, feeding on its own history. Amira looked up, her voice trembling. "Then maybe the Genesis strain isn't a curious conversation starter." The Astronomad drifted in orbit above the glassy ruin of Nebar X, its hull bathed in the dim glow of dying stars. Inside the lab module, Dr. Amira Holt stared at a containment pod inside. A swirling silver mist floated above a living sample of the Genesis strain. "This," she whispered, "is humanity's answer to a cosmic memory." The Genesis strain pulsed faintly, responding to her voice like a heartbeat sinking to emotion. It wasn't just engineered DNA, it was symbiotic code. A hybrid of organic mitochondria and quantum photonics, a living organism capable of generating counter-resonant frequencies that could disrupt the Voidblight's energy consumption cycle. Amira turned to Captain Elara Voss. "The strain doesn't just fight, it listens, it learns." Elara folded her arms. "You're telling me this thing's intelligent?" "Not in the way we understand intelligence," Amira said. "It's adaptive. It translates energy into pattern, pattern into emotion. It's communication made flesh." Before Elara could respond, ARKOS, the ship's AI, flickered onto the holodisplay. Its normally calm voice carried a trace of static. "Captain, the Voidblight field density is increasing exponentially. The system is closing around us." Elara frowned. "Closing? Affirmative. It's forming a containment shell." The ship trembled as invisible pressure rippled through the hull. The stars outside vanished, replaced by a pulsating darkness that moved like breathing lungs. Kale's voice came over the comms. "Tense, Captain. External sensors just detected. Copies of us energy signatures identical to human biowaves echoing from outside." Amira's blood ran cold. "It's learning from us. Every signal, every scan, it's replicating us." Suddenly, the lights dimmed. The lab's containment pod flickered, and the Genesis strain began to glow brighter, reacting violently. The mist twisted into shapes almost human, then stretched outward, as if reaching through the glass. Elara stepped forward, weapon drawn. Amira shut it down. "I can't," Amira shouted. "It's not attacking, it's responding. Look." Through the pod window, the mist shimmered, forming a lattice of light, complex, fractal, almost like writing. Arcos processed the pattern, its voice turning uncertain. "Captain, I am translating. It's attempting communication." "Say it," Elara ordered. "You made the key, but do you remember the door?" The bridge fell silent. Amira's eyes widened. "It knows about the Genesis protocol, the ancient design that seeded life across galaxy. This plague, it might be part of the same system." Kale's voice crackled through the intercom. "Captain, if that's true, then we're not dealing with an infection, we're dealing with a self-correcting mechanism. The galaxy's immune system gone rogue." The idea struck Elara like lightning. The Voidblight wasn't destroying it, was resetting, cleaning corrupted energy, rewriting the biological code of existence itself. Amira pressed a trembling hand against the glass of the containment pod. "If that's true, then the Genesis strain isn't a cure," at Elitzer reply. "A chance to rewrite the rewrite." Outside, the void pulsed in answer. A massive shape began to emerge from the darkness miles wide, its form shifting between geometry and flesh, stars flickering in its translucent veins. The Voidblight had a body, and it was waking up. The darkness outside the astronomad coalesced into form, a colossal being woven from the remains of stars. Its body shimmered with fragments of forgotten constellations, each pulse of light beating like a heart caught between life and entropy. It wasn't just vast. It was ancient, older than galaxies, older than time's first breath. Amira Holt stood frozen before the viewport. "We're looking at the source of the Voidblight," she whispered. "The origin, or perhaps the last survivor of something that came before us." Captain Elara Voss steadied herself as the ship vibrated under gravitational tremors. "Arco, scan that thing. I want composition, energy, readings, anything." "Negative," said the AI. "All scans return recursive feedback loops. It's made of data and matter simultaneously, an oscillation between existence and memory." Kale's voice trembled. "It's watching us." Indeed, the creature's vast, glimmering face, if it could be called that, turned toward the astronomad. From its countless eyes of molten light came a single resonance, a sound like the birth of a sun and the death cry of a galaxy layered together. The hull shook, panels flickered. Then, a voice filled every channel, every frequency, every mind aboard. "Children of light, why do you resist the return?" Amira staggered. "It's talking inside our neural fields." Elara gritted her teeth. "Identify yourself." The voice rippled, bending thought and emotion together. "I am the first memory. The pulse that began the song. We spread light to awaken life, but the light learned to consume itself." Amira's eyes widened. "The Genesis Protocol. The first memory must have been the original architect of life across galaxies. This is the entity that seeded existence." The ship trembled again as the being's immense tendrils of light reached toward them. "You carry the fragment, the echo of our creation, but your kind burns too brightly. You tear the harmony of energy. The plague you name is correction," Kale shouted. "It's going to erase us." Amira clutched the containment pod that held the Genesis strain. "No, it's giving us a chance." "It said we carry the fragment. That means humanity holds a unique resonance." Elara turned sharply. "You think this thing can be reasoned with?" "Not reasoned," Amira said, reminded. Before anyone could stop her, Amira pressed her palm against the pod's glass. The Genesis strain flared, reacting to her biofield. Patterns of light spiraled across her arm, DNA resonating like circuitry. RKOS's voice broke through the chaos. "Warning. Strain activation sequence initiated. Containment breach imminent." The pod shattered in a burst of golden mist. The Genesis strain swirled around Amira, merging into her bloodstream like liquid fire. Her eyes glowed with radiant light. "It's connecting to me. I can feel the entire network, the stars, the darkness, everything." Elara shouted Amira stop, but it was too late. The being outside pulsed with an answering light. The resonance between Amira and the cosmic entity synchronized, forming a bridge between human life and galactic memory. "You remember the flame," the being said softly. "Perhaps you can teach it mercy." And then, the stars began to move. The dead constellations twisted back into alignment, spinning around the astronomad like a cosmic clock winding in reverse. Time itself seemed to hesitate. Amira turned to Elara, her voice layered with 1,000 echoes. "Captain, I think I just became part of the cure." The light within Amira Holt was not merely illumination, it was a chorus. Each photon that touched her skin sang with the voice of a civilization long lost, the symphony of existence returning to a forgotten key. The Genesis strain had unlocked something dormant inside her, a connection to the very code of creation. Captain Elara Voss stood frozen, watching Amira suspended mid-air, hair drifting as though underwater, her eyes blazing like twin novas. The ship's systems flickered wildly. RKOS's voice broke into fragments. "Warning, quantum interference. Human neural signature expanding beyond containment. Beyond containment." Kale shouted. "She's merging with the field." Outside, the colossal being, the first memory, folded its radiant tendrils inward, gazing upon Amira as though beholding its reflection for the first time in eons. The darkness surrounding them pulsed with rhythm now, not chaos. Each wave of energy matched the cadence of Amira's heart. "You carry our forgotten melody," the voice echoed through every atom. "But your kind twisted it into hunger." Amira's voice layered over it, soft but resolute. "No, we evolved it. We learned to shape light into meaning, to feel beyond the equations. You've created life, but we gave it purpose." Elara could only stare. "She's talking to it like it's listening." Arcos flickered back online, tone subdued. "Captain, resonance patterns are stabilizing. The Voidblight is responding, its absorption rate dropping." "She's harmonizing with it," Kale whispered. "She's rewriting the plague." Amira raised her hands, and beams of radiant gold spread from her palms, fractal patterns blossoming through the void. Every star infected by the blight began to shimmer faintly, regaining color, energy, song. The darkness retreated, but not destroyed, transformed, woven into luminous threads that connected world to world, light to light. Yet it was not without cost. Blood trickled from Amira's nose. Her voice trembled. It's working, but it's too much. The field wants to pull me apart. Elara reached toward her, then stop. We'll find another way. Amira smiled faintly. There is no other way. The strain needed a human mind to understand emotion, to teach creation compassion. Without that, the universe keeps repeating the same mistake. She turned toward the viewport, her voice barely above a whisper. Tell them, tell Earth. We were never meant to conquer the stars. We were meant to heal them. Then, in one final surge of radiance, Amira Holt opened herself completely to the light. The Genesis strain bloomed outward, filling the void with a kaleidoscope of colors unseen by any eye. Each hue carried a memory of civilizations reborn, of ancient suns reigniting, of the galaxy remembering what it once was. The first memory's vast form dissolved into starlight. You have given the song new life, it said. The flame endures, not as correction, but as creation. As the light faded, Amira was gone. In her place hung a single sphere of pure energy glowing softly, alive. The astronomad drifted among reborn stars, its crew silent in awe. Elara felt tears burn her eyes. She did it, she whispered. She turned death into memory. Arco S's voice was quiet now, reverent. Captain, the galaxies are singing again. Silence returned to the astronomad, but it was not the silence of death, it was the silence of peace. The kind that follows after a storm has spent itself, when the universe takes a deep breath. Captain Elara Voss floated before the viewport, watching as the reborn stars painted the void in colors that had no names. The once black Nabari expanse now shimmered with vast filaments of gold and azure, drifting like living auroras. Each wave of light hummed softly, and in that hum she could hear her. Amira Holt. Her consciousness was everywhere now, woven into the new fabric of creation, the living code of the galaxy. Arcos, Elara whispered, is there any trace of her? The AI hesitated, its voice softer than usual. Not as a biological entity, Captain, but I am detecting low-frequency quantum harmonics throughout the sector. They are forming coherent linguistic structures, meaning she's speaking, across light itself. A chill ran through Elara's body. Play it. The ship's comm system filled with a faint resonance like the sound of a heartbeat inside a star. Then a voice, ethereal and vast, filled the bridge. Elara, if you're hearing this, it means the galaxy remembers again. Don't mourn me. I became what we were always meant to be, keepers of the flame, not its prisoners. The words reverberated through the hull, through the bones of everyone aboard. Crew members bowed their heads. Even Kale's alien features softened in awe. The Voidblight was never evil. Amira's voice continued. It was the universe trying to heal from its own imbalance. Every species, every world, added noise to the song of life until the melody broke. Humanity's gift wasn't power, it was empathy. The ability to feel beyond the algorithm. Elara's throat tightened. You saved all of us, Amira. No, came the whisper of light. We saved ourselves by remembering that life and death are verses of the same song. The Genesis strain was never a weapon, it was a mirror. And now the stars know their reflection again. Outside, a pulse of golden light radiated from the nebula, rippling across Parsec. Every infected star in the sector brightened in answer. The wave traveled faster than light, not through space but through memory, through the living code. Amira had reawakened. Arco spoke quietly, almost reverently. Captain, the harmonic wave is spreading beyond the Nabari expanse. It's reformatting dead systems, even those outside our reach. Kale's hands trembled. She's rewriting the laws of entropy. Elara smiled through her tears. No, she's teaching the universe how to live again. As the astronomad turned toward home, the stars around them whispered in harmonic unison a cosmic lullaby of rebirth. And there, among those infinite voices, one shone brighter than all the rest. Remember the fire, but walk in the light. Elara stood at the viewport long after the transmission faded. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy was quiet not because it was dying, but because it was listening. And somewhere beyond the veil of stars, a human soul smiled, her light forever woven into the song of creation.